Hello and welcome back to Genesis Designs and Modelcraft, and a little review of some stuff that's been sent to me recently by a chap named Sean, who runs a company called TopNotch Models, Masks and Accessories. And he messaged me out of the blue, I don't know the guy, and asked if he could send me some stuff, wanted me to have a look at some stuff and review it. So I agreed, and as is my wont, rather than just having him send over some random stuff, I got him to send some stuff that was relevant to some builds that are ongoing here at Genesis Towers. So today, with the beverage of choice being Lipton Peach Tea, not sponsorship, and I don't want any unsubs because Brits only drink hot tea, please, thank you very much. Yes, with that beverage in hand, we'll have a look at these masks and some of the other things he sent me. So the masks then, these are not markings masks, these are camouflage masks. I mentioned that I'm working on a buccaneer, I want to do another armour hurricane, and I'm also working on a swordfish, so he very kindly sped into production the already planned swordfish set and sent that across. I'll use the hurricane as an example, but what you get in your package. An instruction sheet and some masking material. So here we've got two small sheets, and it's the sort of the vinyl style. If you can see the cuts in there, it's pre-cut, and then you get a diagram showing the camouflage pattern and the masks as they're laid out on the sheet, and you can see that each mask is numbered. And then those numbers correspond to a part of the camouflage pattern. Now, logically, looking at it, you can kind of use them both. You can kind of use them both ways round, but I think really these are designed with a view to sticking the brown down first, putting the mask on, and then going with the green. You can get step-by-step instructions and photos downloaded. Download that off the website, as it says here. There is the website. TopNotchMasks.com. Here's how the website looks on your phone. Now, these mask sets cost in the main £6-9-ish. Some of them will be more, depending on the subject, obviously. As you can see, they're very, very reasonably priced, actually, I think, for what they are. Clearly, they're only really useful for subjects that do have a hard demarcation on the colours, on the patterns. But I don't know about anybody else. I love painting camouflage freehand with the airbrush. It's my favourite way to do it. And if it's possible, I'll always do it that way. But when it comes to a proper hard edged camo, it can be such a pain to sort out the mask with all the curves and everything else. The tape just doesn't want to go where you want it, so you use blue tack, but then you don't get a fully hard edge. It's a pain. So these sets, and now I'm looking at the buccaneer sheets, as you can see, I think are a really, really useful tool in the modelling arsenal. So, quick note on usage then. As I say, the diagram, each of these masks is numbered, and the diagrams number the patches of colour that each mask relates to. And that's all well and good, but it can be quite difficult to identify what goes where. And now some of you might already be thinking, well, this is lovely, Jen, but what's the point of showing us these in the packet? We need to know what they're like to use. Well, luckily for you and Sean, I have actually already used a set on a Vulcan. I'll show you the Vulcan in a moment, and you can see what I did with it. So I used the pictures and the numbers, and I used a Sharpie, and I wrote the number on each piece of mask. As you can see, these have actually been used. What you can also possibly make out is that some of them have been cut and messed around with, and that is because I found, these being the vinyl kind, when you peel them off the sheet, and especially if you try to affix them to the model kind of more than once, they stretch a little bit, and they didn't seem to want to quite fit. So some of them I sort of cut and shut them a little bit, or just jiggled them around a little bit to help it work. These are the shapes here. I photocopied instructions, I cut them all out, so these have obviously got the numbers on them, and I used these on the model just to check the alignment of everything, to give me an idea of how it was all going to work, because the Vulcan's a fairly large canvas at the end of the day. And the results of that work are here, and this is no way going to fit under the camera in any way, shape or form, but here you go. This is the Vulcan that I painted with the mask set, and I hope you can see that it was wildly successful. I have hard-edged camouflage, it's neat, it's tidy, it looks like it should, and yes, it was a fair bit of work, but it was nowhere near as much work as masking all of this by hand would have been. A really good time saver, I think, especially given the very reasonable price of the sets. So I'm going to give them a thumbs up for anything that needs a hard demarcation, and those subjects are actually, in fairness, relatively rare. Or, you know, if you don't want to do freehand camo, or if you're not really bothered, you know, you'll take the ease over accuracy, because there's lots of people out there that you know, will do that, so that's fine as well. So that's the mask sets: Vulcan, Buccaneer, Hurricane, Swordfish, and say £6 up. Really decent prices. I think I got the set I've just shown you. I think I got it from Hannon's actually, so you can get them for other places too. He also sent me a selection of his 3D printed anti-knockovers. Now, I'll be honest, I've never ever in my life yet knocked over one of these bottles. So I feel like this is a segment of the market that's addressing a problem that doesn't exist. However, I'm sure other people have knocked them over, and the idea behind these is very simple. Clearly, you pop your condiment in the holder and it makes it significantly more difficult to tip it over. And TopNotch do a selection of these anti-knockovers. You can get 1, 2 and 3 slot holders for the square type bottles, and not just for Tamiya. So this is a Tamiya one, there's some Tamiya things in it. This is a Mr. Hobby one, and that is denoted by the H. Let's cut into these. Are 3D printed. You get some Mr. Hobby something. There you go, Mr. Cement S, Mr. Mark Setter, and another Mr. Mark Setter. And you just sit them in there, neat as you like. It's going to be very, very hard to knock those over now. It's also quite a neat way of storing them actually. You can get the 2 and 3 slot ones, and you can store various appropriate things together in this way. Another item, sprue holders. So these are, as the name suggests, for slotting sprues into whilst you're working on a model. They're also really useful actually as instruction holders. Put your instructions in a couple of these, balance them up at the side of the desk where you're working, and indeed you could even press them into service for wing panel storage, just like the real thing, kind of. So that's sprue holders. Then we've got, also called sprue holders, these square containers which are actually meant for storing small parts in. Now on this one you'll note the presence of a little notch, and this is a really great idea in my opinion. You can buy multiples of these things and you can attach them together like garage floor tiles, and have multiple pots and bits and pieces joined together. This is also true. These are not on the website yet. These are some prototypes of circular. Let's put these the right way up. Circular holders, and you can see the size is cut into the print there. 35mm is designed around. Come into shot. It's designed around your Tamiya paint pot. Excuse me. And I had a lot of fun the other day, just going around my collection of various different juices and finding things that fit into each slot. As you can see, numerous things will go into these. The 40mm works really well for your MOAK stuff. That's the ultra glue, but the dry brushable paint is the same size, so they'll slip in there nicely, stop them falling over. Your VMS will sit in there, and indeed the big one. Super glues, whatever you've got, you can find a slot to fit things to help you not spread paint over the workbench. And I have knocked these over, and I have knocked Tamiya paint jars over, and glue pots and things like that. So these, I feel, are not a product looking for a market quite so much as these are. And again, they can latch together, so you could buy sizes to suit what you're working with, connect them together, and have your washers, say, connected in a strip at the top of your bench when you're working on them. Immune from being knocked over. The last one of those type items is this little doofus, and this is designed for Microset Microsol. I don't have Microset Microsol. I've got some crystal clear there and some foil adhesive, and again, I have knocked these over many times. These are the world's stupidest design, to be honest, for a modelling fluid, especially the set and sole being so runny. Can spread them all over the workbench quite happily. You can also use, if you use the Ultimate solutions, they'll drop in there just the same. Likewise, I'm out of MIG. They do the set and sole fixer and stuff in these size, and again these circular containers. Which one was it? 37, 35 VMS. Wonder lamp silly. So yeah, these I do feel are quite useful, potentially, depending on how much space you've got on your desk. Actually, what you can't see is outside of this beautiful clear OCD friendly cutting mat is the chaos around the side of the bench, and I don't actually have a huge amount of clear space to put things, but yeah, I think these are quite useful. And then lastly, a really dandy holder for Infini sanding sticks. Just slot into there, and again you can pop that to the side of the bench. You can see exactly where they are, exactly what you've got, and whenever you need it, just pop it out of the holder, use it, and then put it back. I think they're brilliant. Price wise, so I don't know on these because they're not on the site yet, but the singles like this are around the £4 mark, £4 English pounds for these singulars. I think the doubles were £6. I did right, yes, I've written on the bottom. Doubles were £6, the triples were £8. So 4, 6 and 8 for those. Whoopsie. 6 for the microset holder. Sprue holders are £8, and the Infini sanding stick holder is 10. So these are all 3D printed, good solid sturdy bits of kit, and I think, to be honest, quite reasonably priced. So whoops, thank you so much, Sean, for volunteering to send that stuff over. I will incorporate some of those pieces I've just shown you into the next giveaway package that I do, whensoever that happens. But I am a fan. I do like them. I think they are potentially useful. Bring them into view a bit better. So there you go, that's a little quick look at, this is, you know, a one-man band in the UK with some really appropriate and useful accessories at actually sensible prices, and I feel on that basis alone almost it deserves a little bit of support. So if you fancy getting any of this, I don't have a discount code or anything, but visit the website www.topnotchmasks.com, have a look, see what you think, tell them Jen sent you, and everyone's a winner. There you go. And with all that said then, it only remains for me to say, look after yourselves, look after each other. Genesis out.